Sorry, my mic was muted. Hello, hello, hello. Hi, hi everyone. Hi. Hi, Lincho. Hi. How are we doing today? Alright, guys. Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you. I'm, as you might have guessed, Mio. I'm just a little bit stupid, slow and sleepy, and steady. It is what it is. But yeah, I hope we'll have a comfy time today. ASMR to Miomir stream? 100%. Either I'm gonna fall asleep, or you guys are gonna fall asleep. Either way, it's a W. It's the one time you actually want someone to, doing good to the cover art for a song I haven't made yet. Yo, it sounds hype. It's like a self-made song. Or song I haven't made yet. That's so cool. I've always wanted to do something like that. Yo. Hello, Gigi. Hey. Yo. Hey. Good to see familiar faces and new faces. Always nice. So, as you might have guessed it, today is gonna be, let me come closer. Today's is gonna be ASMR. But it's my first time doing it, so I'm very unsure of how it's gonna end up. Wait, let me fix the reactive. Okay, there we go. The no suppression was on, so it just kept kicking me out. Gonna get a Mio thigh plushie for better immersion. Let's see. I have something that's kind of similar. Let's see. I'm gonna work on it the following days. Nice. I hope you have a good time working on it. I hope it's fun the whole time. It's always sad when it's when it's not. Is it this one? Nope. This one? Nope. Looks like a schedule. This one? Oh. No. Oh, not that one either. Can't find it. This one? This one works actually. Let me just fix it a bit on screen. There we go. You can see, can I rotate it? I can't rotate it. But yeah, here we go. It might look like you're distressed, but you're not. I swear. You're just having a comfy time. I'm giving you a head massage, good against headaches, good against fatigue. There we go. No, what did I do? Okay, fix itself. Here we go. Oh no, I did it again. I hate this. OBS is so hard to let's see when I'm doing something right and when I'm not. I'm trying to make this a bit smaller so that it fits a bit more. It looks a bit uncanny. I'm gonna do that. Yeah, I think this looks good. This looks kind of good. Oh my god, what did I do? Not only there's a bit of corrupted text there at the bottom. Oh no. Is it this? Oh, it's not. One of these days I will have a stream without scope. Today's not the day, but one day. Is it? Okay, I think I fixed it. Almost fixed it. I think I know what I did. What I did was this, I think. Maybe? I don't know. Can I undo it, please? I'm crying. I'm actually crying inside. Okay, we'll have to leave it at this then for now. The tragedy. But okay. My plan for today, before the technical difficulties, was to pick a little funny bedtime story or grim story and read it, and then just keep reading bedtime stories until everyone is or I am, you know. Those were sleeping sounds, by the way. Yeah. Let's go. Let's see. I was thinking of starting with Little Red Riding Hood, and I can lower the BGM once I actually start reading. Let's see. What do you guys want to read? Do we have any requests for bedtime stories? Should be fairly easy to find most of them, because everything is like CC. Creative Commons? Yeah, Creative Commons. Let's see. Maybe Rumpelstiltskin. Nanatsu no Taizai. Very interesting. No seven deadly sins. Although maybe I could if I managed to figure out a way to do it. But not for today. Let's do Red Riding Hood. And then maybe Rumpelstiltskin. Rumpelstiltskin. Yeah, Rumpelstiltskin after that. Wait! Hagrid! Thank you so much for following. Welcome to the Imps. I hope you enjoy your stay. Today's ASMR stream, but it's also my first time doing ASMR, okay? So, no bullying. If anyone bullies me, I will audibly cry into the mic before bullying you back. Purple heart. Nice. Heart. Smile. Okay. Let's see. ASMR. As it should be. 100%. How about Bear Snores On? Let's see. Bear Snores. Oh, so sorry. I need to use my keyboards. It's gonna be a bit clickety-clackety. Sorry. Hopefully it contributes to the experience, and if not, here's a warning. Let's see. I've actually never read Bear Snores On. Oh, it's a whole picture book. Or maybe this is just bears. Let's see. Bears. Cold. Oh, okay. I found a PDF with like the picture book, right? But it also has pictures for the words. And for one of them is one of the parts is like an itty bitty mouse, pitter pat, tiptoe, creep crawls in the cave in the fluff cold snow, right? But for tiptoe, the pictures are a person throwing out trash and like a toe pointing at the person reading. Me, be my mommy. Meomi. I'll be everyone's meomi. I'll adopt everyone, and everyone can we'll have coffee time. Sorry, you'll lay on my lap like so, but angled, and I'll be reading bedtime stories, and everyone will be falling asleep and wake up super refreshed. Okay, I think we're getting there, right? We have a bit of a layup. We have Red Riding Hood, and then we have Rumpelstiltskin, and then we have the Bear Snores On. And if any other requests pop up, that's fine too. Then we'll see if we can do that too. Let's see. Should probably lower the BGM. Do you guys want the BGM on while I read, or do you want it to be off? It's completely up to you. I'll wait for the stream to catch up. And hopefully everyone will be polite and good and tell me their preferences. So I can either mute it or let it play before I start reading. No one to fall asleep with Mia voice, but then she'll eat my soul. That's a very valid concern. I will, however, for now. Today's just a testing period, right? So we'll all be safe and sound once we fall asleep. Okay, I think I'm gonna lower the BGM so it's like barely audible. And then read. Alright. Let's go. Little Red Riding Hood. Once upon a time, there was a dear little girl who was loved by everyone who looked at her, but most of all, by her grandmother. There was nothing she would not have given to the child. Once she gave her a little cap of red velvet, which suited her so well that she would never wear anything else. So she was always called Little Red Riding Hood. One day, her mother said to her, "Come, Little Red Riding Hood, here's a piece of cake and a bottle of wine. Take them to your grandmother. She's ill and weak, and they will do her good. Set out before it gets hot, and when you're going, walk nicely and quietly, and do not run off the path, or you may fall and break the bottle, and then your grandmother will get nothing. And when you go into her room, don't forget to say good morning and don't peep into every corner before you do it. I will take great care, said Little Red Riding Hood to her mother, and gave her hand on it. The grandmother lived out in the wood, half a league from the village, and just as Little Red Riding Hood entered the wood, a wolf met her. Little Red Riding Hood did not know what a wicked creature he was, and was not at all afraid of him. "Good day, Little Red Riding Hood," said he. "Thank you kindly, Wolf." "Whither away so early, Little Red Riding Hood?" "To my grandmother's." "What have you got in your apron?" "Cake and wine. Yesterday was baking day, so poor sick grandmother is to have something good to make her stronger." "Where does your grandmother live, Little Red Riding Hood?" "A good quarter of a league farther into the woods. Her house stands under the 3 large oak trees. The nut trees are just below. You surely must know it," replied Little Red Riding Hood. The wolf thought to himself, "What a tender young creature. What a nice plump mouthful. She will be better to eat than the old woman. I must act craftily, so as to catch both." So he walked for a short time by the side of Little Red Riding Hood, and then he said, "See, Little Red Riding Hood, how pretty the flowers are about here. Why do you not look around? I believe, too, that you do not hear how sweetly the little birds are singing. You walk gravely along as you are going to school, while everything else out here in the wood is merry." Little Red Riding Hood raised her eyes, and when she saw the sunbeams dancing here and there through the trees, and pretty flowers growing everywhere, she thought, "Suppose I take grandmother a fresh nosegay. That would please her too. It is so early in the day, but I shall still get there in good time." And so she ran from the path into the woods to look for flowers. And whenever she had picked one, she fancied that she saw a still prettier one farther on, and ran after it, and so got deeper and deeper into the woods. Meanwhile, the wolf ran straight to the grandmother's house and knocked at the door. "Who's there?" "Little Red Riding Hood," replied the wolf. "She's bringing cake and wine." "Open the door." "Lift the latch," called out the grandmother. "I am too weak and cannot get up." The wolf lifted the latch, and the door sprang open, and without saying a word, he went straight to the grandmother's bed and devoured her. Then he put on her clothes, dressed himself in her cap, laid himself in bed, and drew the curtains. Little Red Riding Hood, however, had been running about picking flowers, and when she had gathered so many that she could carry no more, she remembered her grandmother and set out on the way to her. She was surprised to find the cottage door standing open, and when she went into the room, she had such a strange feeling that she said to herself, "Oh dear, how uneasy I feel today, and at other times I like being with grandmother so much." She called out, "Good morning." But received no answer, so she went to the bed and drew back the curtains. There lay her grandmother, with her cap pulled far over her face, and looking very strange. "Oh, grandmother," she said, "what big ears you have." "The better to hear you with, my child," was the reply. "But, grandmother, big eyes you have," she said. "The better to see you with, my dear." "But, grandmother, what large hands you have." "The better to hug you with." "Oh, but, grandmother, what a terrible big mouth you have." "The better to eat you with." And scarcely had the wolf said this, and with one bound he was out of bed and swallowed up Little Red Riding Hood. When the wolf had appeased his appetite, he lay down again in the bed, fell asleep, and began to snore very loud. The huntsman was just passing the house and thought to himself, "How the old woman is snoring. I must see if she wants anything." So he went into the room, and when he came to the bed, he saw that the wolf was lying in it. "Do I find you here, you old sinner?" said he. "I have long sought you." Then, just as he was about to fire at him, it occurred to him that the wolf might have devoured the grandmother, and that she might still be saved. So he did not fire, but took out a pair of scissors and began to cut open the stomach of the sleeping wolf. When he had made 2 snips, he saw the Little Red Riding Hood shining, and then he made 2 snips more, and the girl sprang out, crying. Ah, how frightened I have been! How dark it was inside the wolf! And after that, the aged grandmother came out alive also, but scarcely able to breathe. Little Red Riding Hood, however, quickly fetched great stones, with which they filled the wolf's belly, and when he awoke, he wanted to run away. But the stones were so heavy that he collapsed at once and fell dead. Then all 3 were delighted. The huntsman drew off the wolf's skin and went home with it. The grandmother ate the cake and drank the wine which Little Red Riding Hood had brought, and revived. But Little Red Riding Hood thought to herself, "As long as I live, I will never by myself leave the path to run into the wood when my mother has forbidden me to do so." It is also related that once when Little Red Riding Hood was again taking cakes to the old grandmother, another wolf spoke to her and tried to entice her from the path. Little Red Riding Hood, however, was on her guard and went straight forward on her way, and told her grandmother that she had met the wolf, and that he had said good morning to her, but with such a wicked look in his eyes, that if they had not been on the public road, she was certain he would have eaten her up. "Well," said the grandmother, "we will shut the door, that he may not come in." Soon afterwards, the wolf knocked and cried, "Open the door, grandmother. I am Little Red Riding Hood, and I am bringing you some cakes." They did not speak or open the door, so the grey-beard stole twice or thrice round the house, and at last jumped on the roof, intending to wait until Little Red Riding Hood went home in the evening, and then to steal after her and devour her in the darkness. But the grandmother saw what was in his thoughts. In front of the house was a great stone throw, so she said to the child, "Take the pail, Little Red Riding Hood. I made some sausages yesterday, so carry the water in which I boiled them to the throw. Old Red Riding Hood carried until the great throw was quite full. Then the smell of the sausages reached the wolf, and he sniffed and peeped down, and at last stretched out his neck so that he could no longer keep his footing, and began to slip, and slipped down from the roof straight into the great throw, and was drowned. But Little Red Riding Hood went joyously home, and no one ever did anything to harm her again. So this is the 4 origin story. Yep. The one and only. It's so weird to read something for like a longer period. I can tell that I'm not very used to it, but it's nice. I think for the next story, I need to strain my back. Take a deep breath. Nice. But was the audio good? Should I maybe with the BGM? Is it? Mute it? Or was my mic cutting out? I know it's happened before, but I hope it didn't happen now. Let's see. It's perfect. It's great. Then we will go on to another story. We will go to Rumpelstiltskin. Ooh. Spoilers. No cutting out on my end? Great. Let's see. And I will just go to the top of the screen. Oh, I should probably drink some water. Oh, I'm gonna mute it so that you guys don't hear that like. I accidentally spilled water on myself. Oh my god. I'm all wet. Okay. I think. Oh my god. One day I will not bump into anything or accidentally spill water on myself. Okay. Next story is. Wait, we can do this too. We can do a currently reading. And then I'm not gonna type up in Silkskin. There we go. Right here. Can I put it here? Yeah. Yeah, this works. It's like a karaoke set list. But not. Hey. Okay, there we go. This one's Ooh, this one's long. Okay. Alright, let's go. Alright, actually, let me do this. Ignoring on myself. There once lived a miller with his daughter. When the miller was at work all day. Nope. I see. I saw the sun alert. I don't know why it didn't play, but I definitely noticed it before I heard it. Let's see. I should probably alerts. Mute monitor and output. It's weird. It's weird. Maybe this light isn't working. That's fine. I'll fix it for next time. Okay. I'm gonna do this too. So, studio mode it. Add a new window capture. Call this one story time. Great. Do not capture cursor. Do not capture that. And then crop it. And let's make it 500. No, actually 0. Don't worry about it. I'm making sure you guys can see what I'm reading. That way my random interweave. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for the follow. I hope you enjoy your stay. We're doing an ASMR stream today. Ooh. First time. I mentioned earlier that if anyone bullies me, I will cry audibly into the mic. I'll say 100 should be enough here. Maybe 150. Maybe 200. And right now I'm just kind of fixing up so that you guys can see what I'm reading as I'm reading it. Because I know that sometimes my accent comes through and it's a bit hard to understand what I'm saying. That's all I'm doing. You guys will see something in 3 seconds. And then from the bottom we do 500. Yeah, 550 maybe. You guys see one line at a time. No spoilers. It's not working. 70? 620? Okay. Okay, so I fixed it. It's kind of scuffed, but that's fine. Totally fine. There we go. Look at this. Isn't it so swag? And when I scroll down, boom. I just gotta make sure it stays the same distance the whole time. That shouldn't be a problem. Alright, now for story number 2. Let's see. Alright, here we go. I doing it, but I feel like I have to. There once lived a miller with his daughter. When the miller was at work all day turning grain into flour, he loved nothing more than to think up tall tales to amaze people. One day, the king came to town. He heard the miller talking about his daughter. The miller was saying that his daughter was the most amazing girl in the village, if not in all the land. I'll fix it, don't worry. You there, said the king. What's so amazing about your daughter? The father bowed. There we go. This works. The father bowed. He said, Your Majesty, my daughter is so clever that she can spin straw into gold. Spin straw into gold? The king said. That's amazing. She must come to my palace. I will put her to the test. But I mean, said the miller, he wished he had not told the king such a thing, but now it was too late. So the miller's daughter had to go to the king's palace at once. The king took her to a room piled with straw from floor to ceiling. He pointed to the spinning wheel in the middle of the room. He said, Now get to work. If by morning you have not spun the straw into gold, you will die. The king slammed the door and locked it behind him. The girl was all alone. It's a little picture. For the life of her, she did not know what to do. She had no idea how to spin straw into gold. What will I do? She called out to the air. No one can do such a thing. Just then, an odd little man stood before her. Did I hear you say, no one? He said. What? Girl said, shocked. Where did you come from? Never mind that, said the imp. What matters is that I can save your life. For a price, of course. You can spin straw into gold? Said the girl. What kind of price do you have in mind? She did not know if she should trust the stranger. What you give must be important to you, said the imp. How about that necklace? Another picture. The girl thought, Indeed, my necklace is very dear to me, but not as much as my freedom. So she said to the imp, Very well. If by morning you can turn this room full of straw into gold, this necklace is yours. The little man got to work. Very busy he was, all night long, until morning. By then, not one piece of straw was left in the room. All of it was turned into piles of pure gold thread. You did it, said the girl. Of course I did, snapped the imp. Now hand over that necklace. A deal is a deal, said the girl. She took off her necklace and gave it to him, and he was gone. When the king stepped into the room, he was very glad. Look at that, he said, running the gold thread through his fingers. Pure gold. Yes, said the girl. Now if you please, sir, I'd like to go home now. Not so fast, said the king. I will have my servant bring new straw to fill up a room larger than this one. You will stay there overnight. Beware. By morning, all the straw must be spun into gold, if you care about your life. Look at that, he said. Oh, oops. But I already, said the girl. No buts about it, said the king, and he left, slamming the door behind him. It locked with a click. Oh, the girl called out. I was lucky last night. It will not happen again. Who? Says? Said a voice. The girl turned. There, before her, was that odd little man again. I will do this job for you, said the imp. You must give me that ring on your finger. I always loved that ring, thought the girl. But after all, it is just a ring. All right, she said to the imp. It's a deal. So the imp spun the straw all night. By morning, nothing but piles of spun gold thread lay on the floor. The girl gave the ring to the imp, as she said she would do. The next morning, the girl felt sure the king would be so happy he would let her go home. But alas, if 2 rooms of gold look good to a king, 3 rooms of gold looked even better. The king took the girl to the biggest room yet, already filled with straw. He told her she must turn that straw into gold by morning, or else. This time, however, the king said his son was coming back from a long journey that very night. In the morning, he would send his son to the room to see if the work was done, and if it was, she was to marry the prince. The king thought, even if she's a miller's daughter, I could not find a better wife for my son. But he told the girl in a loud, booming voice, if she could not do the task, she would marry no one at all, or she would die. When the king left, the girl fell into deep gloom. How would this go on? Would she ever get out? When she lifted her head, there was that little man again. I bet you knew I would come back, he said. I could not know for sure, said the girl, but this time I no longer have anything to give you. I cannot pay you anymore. We will find a good price, said the imp, and he went to work, spinning the straw into gold. Stop, said the girl, please. I have nothing left to pay you. But the imp did not stop. He worked all night long, while the girl waved at him and begged him to stop, hour after hour. It was no use. By morning, the job was done. There, said the imp. All done. Now, I will tell you my price. That's not fair, said the girl. A lot of things are not fair, said the imp with a shrug. Very well, she sighed. What is your price? Oh, nothing right now, he said. But later, if you become queen, I will take your firstborn child. What? The girl said in fear. I cannot imagine I would ever be queen, but if I ever were, I would never agree to such a thing. Oh, but you already have. The straw is spun into gold, and so the deal is made, said the imp, and he was gone. A moment later, a young man stepped into the room. Miss, well, you are right, said the prince. I know how hard my father can be. True that, she said, and they smiled. This young man seemed very different from his father. When I am king, he said, I will not rule as he does. The prince looked around. He saw large piles of gold shining on the floor. How can you do such a thing? he said in wonder. The girl said nothing. I was told that if the straw were spun into gold by this morning, you were to marry me. But know this, if you want to get out of here, I will help you. Do not worry, I will find a way to tell my father. This young man was very different. The girl wanted to get to know him better. The two stayed in the room and talked about all sorts of things. Before long, they had fallen in love. Then, he asked her to marry him, and the girl said yes. So, the two were married. It was not long after the marriage. It was not long after the wedding when the terrible old king died. The prince became the king, and the miller's daughter became the queen. In time, the new queen had a baby of her own, a son. Joy filled the palace. Until one day, when the queen was alone in her room, all of a sudden, the imp stood before her. Give me what you promised, said the imp, pointing at the baby. Now. I never promised it, said the queen. She held her baby tightly. She said, I will give you gold instead, more gold than you have ever seen. Why do I need gold? Said the little man. I can make all the gold I want. Then I will give you a castle, said the queen. I come and go where I want, said the imp. What do I want with a castle? Then I will give you servants to take care of you, said the queen. No one takes care of me, said the imp. No one even knows who I am. I will find out who you are, said the queen. Oh, really? Said the imp, for he knew that no one on earth knew his true name. Very well, he said. I will give you 3 days. After 3 days, if you cannot tell me my true name, the baby is mine. But if you guess my name, you can keep the baby for all I care, and no one must know of this. If you say but one word of this to anyone, the baby will be gone forever. 3 days is a long time to come up with a lot of names, thought the queen, so she agreed. The next day, the queen wrote a very long list of every name she could think of. That night, in the baby's bedroom, the imp appeared before her. Well, he said in a loud voice. The queen read the whole list of names, one by one. Could your name be Nathan? She said. Lucas? Jacob? Hugo? Felix? Oliver? As you can imagine, many other names too. Not even close, laughed the imp. See you tomorrow night, and he was gone. The next day, the queen looked through every book in the royal library. She found names from faraway places, names she had never heard of. That night, when the imp appeared, the queen read her list. Perhaps your name is Maximilian, she said. No? How about Gunnar? Alfonso? Poindexter? And many more. This is boring, said the imp, but I will not be bored tomorrow night. The 3rd night is when that baby is mine. He laughed again and was gone. The 3rd day, the queen did not know what to do. She wished she could tell her husband her woes, but she did not dare to. She walked to one side of the room and back again, back and forth, over and over. This does not help a thing, she said. She put on her royal cape and hood and walked outside the castle. If I have peace and quiet, maybe I will think of something, she thought. The queen went into the woods. She followed a brook to a big lake. She went past the lake into the deep forest hidden in the darkness. All of a sudden, the queen saw a light of a fire far away, and there is a voice that was hard to make out. There was something about that voice, too. But what? She stepped closer. At last, in front of the fire, danced a little man. It was he, the very same imp. Very quietly, the queen listened. As the little man danced, he sang, "Tonight, tonight, my plans I make. Tomorrow, tomorrow, the baby I take. The queen will never win the game, for Rumpelstiltskin is my name." "Rumpelstiltskin," said the queen. That night, when Rumpelstiltskin appeared, the queen went through more names. "Is your name Yusuf? Bobek? How about Solomon?" "No, 1,000 times no," said the imp. "You're wasting my time. I will give you one last guess, then that is the end." "Well, I'm sure this is not right, but could your name be Rumpelstiltskin?" "Rumpelstiltskin," yelled the imp. "How could you know?" He was so mad that he stamped his feet. He stamped them so hard that a very big hole opened in the ground, and he fell right through down into it, and Rumpelstiltskin was never seen again. The end. Alright, story number 2. Let's see, do we have any awakers? Do we have any sleepers? No, call me Rumpelstiltskin, because I sure am from you. God. Maybe this story is a metaphor. Maybe this is what you guys get up to when stream's offline. This is what all the imps are doing. Let's see. I'll close this. Holding on, thank you. Okay, thank you. Let's see. And now we do Bear Snores On. This one, however, needs to be cropped differently. I'm just gonna fix that. So I'll do this. Create a new crop. Crop 2. And this one is 200, 300, 400, 450, 460, 70. Bingo. And then from the top we do 300. Like that. This one's a bit different because this one's like a picture book, kind of. And from here it's 200. Okay, maybe. Perfect. And then from the bottom, just a little bit. Great. Great. Okay. Oops, it was a bit too big. There we go. Oh, put it. I'll put it here, I think. Or maybe here. So difficult. I think this is good. I think this is like it has like cues on what's being read. Let's go for it. Let's see, hopefully you guys can read it. Now I'll make it a little bit bigger. Yeah, seems good. Right, so now we've read Rumpelstiltskin, and we've read Little Red Riding Hood. So now we're doing Bear Snores. Oh, Bear Snores On. I've never read this before, so it's gonna be my first time. So a bit more mercy on me when I read it wrong. In a cave in the woods, in his deep dark lair, through the long cold winter, sleeps a great brown bear. Cuddled in a heap with his eyes shut tight, bear sleeps through the day, he sleeps through the night. The cold wind howls, and the night sounds growl. The bear snores on. An itty-bitty mouse, pitter-pat tiptoe, creep crawls in the cave from the fluff cold snow. Mouse squeaks, too damp, too dank, too dark, so he lights a wee twigs with a small hot spark. The coals pip, pop, and the wind doesn't stop, but the bear snores on. Two glowing eyes sneak peek in the den. Mouse cries, "Who's there?" And a hare hops in. "Hi, Mouse," says Hare, "long time no see." They pop white corn and they brew black tea. Mouse sips wee slurps, Hare burps big burps, but the bear snores on. A badger comes by, sniff snuffs at the air. "I smell yummy yums, perhaps we can share." "I've brought honey nuts," says the honey nuts. "I've brought honey nuts," Badger says with a grin. "Let's divvy them up, cozy down, and dig in." Oh, nice. And they nibble and they munch with a chew, chomp, crunch, but the bear snores on. A gopher and a mole tunnel up through the floor, then a wren and a raven fly in through the door. Mole says, "What a night, what a storm," says wren, and everybody gathers in the great bear's den. But the bear snores on. In a cave in the woods, a slumbering bear sleeps through the party in his very own lair. Hare stokes the fire, Mouse seasons the stew, and a small pepper fleck makes the bear rat-chew. Bear blows and he sneezes, and the whole crowd freezes. And the bear wakes up. Bear gnarls and he snarls, bear roars and he rumbles, bear jumps and he stomps, bear growls and he grumbles. You've snuck in my cave, and you've all had fun. But me, I was sleeping, and I have had none. And the bear blubbers on. Mouse says, don't worry, don't fuss. Look, see? We can pop more corn, and we can brew more tea. I think I fucked up. Sorry. Bear gulps, bear gobbles, he sighs with delight. Then bear tells tall tales through the blustery night. When the sun peeks up on a crisp, clear dawn, bear can't sleep, but bear's friends snore on. Me, 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 me. The end. I hope this was the right one. I feel like I messed up some of the rhymes. Sorry. Let's see. That was cute. I like that one. See if I can find some more. Isn't this a SpongeBob episode? Maybe. Maybe it's just deja vu. Yeah, let's see. What's wait, I need to start back. I keep punching. I keep punching over into my mic. Let's see. Here's a list of F20 tales that is not available in my country or region. Let's see. Let's do the ugly duckling. Yeah, ugly duckling seems like a good length. Okay. Let me prepare it. I'm gonna scroll down. Maybe I need more. Yeah, this works. Alright. How are we holding on? Any sleepers? Any awakers? Where's another one? Oh, could you guys hear the sequels? Or the birds? No, it's so weird. It's not showing. Maybe I need to pick a different window. Maybe. Over. Okay. Please work. Not working. Okay, here we go. I know what's wrong. It's because I raised it. If I do this, okay. I fixed it, guys. I fixed it. I'm a genius. Thank you. Sequel? Sequel. Yeah. Sequel. Pequel. Even. Alright, do this. something. On a farm long ago, Mama Duck sat on her nest. How long must I wait for my babies to hatch? She said. I have to sit here all alone, and no one comes to visit me. But what could she do? Mama Duck must keep her eggs warm till they hatch. At last, the eggs began to crack. One by one, yellow ducklings stepped out of the shells. They shook their wings and said, "Quack, quack." "Look at all of you," said Mama Duck with joy. "You're all so cute." "Quack, quack," they said. Mama Duck said, "Come and line up. We will go down to the lake for your very first swim." She counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. "Oh dear," she said, "should have 6 ducklings." But one large egg was still in the nest. "Well," said Mama Duck, "it looks like that big egg will take more time." So she had to go sit on her nest again and wait some more. The next day, the big egg started to hatch. Out came a baby boy bird. But if one might say so, it was an odd-looking thing. This bird was much bigger than the others. He was not yellow at all. He was dark gray from his head to his feet, and he walked with a funny wobble. One of the yellow ducklings pointed. "What is that? He cannot be one of us." "I've never seen such an ugly duckling," said another. "How can you say such a thing?" said Mama Duck in a stern voice. "You're only 1 day old. Your brother hatched from the very same nest as you did. Now line up. We will go to the lake for your very first swim." Yet the ducklings quacked, "Ugly, ugly, ugly." The ugly duckling did not know why the other ducklings were yelling at him. He took the last spot in the line. Each yellow duck jumped in the river and swam behind Mama Duck. When it was his turn, the ugly duckling jumped in and started to paddle too. "At least he can swim," Mama Duck said to herself. When they left the water and started to play, the ugly duckling tried to play with his brothers and sisters too. They yelled, "Go away! We will not play with you. You're ugly and you walk weird too." When Mama Duck was close by, she would not let them talk in this way. "Be nice," she would scold, but she was not always close by. One day, one of the yellow ducklings said to the ugly duckling, "You know what? You would do us a big favor if you just went away from here." All of them started to quack, "Get out, get out, get out." "Why won't they let me stay here?" said the ugly duckling to himself. He hung his head down low. "Ah, they're right. I should go." That night, the ugly duckling flew over the farmyard fence. He flew till he landed on the other side of the lake. There, he met 2 grown-up ducks. "Can I please stay here for a while?" said the ugly duckling. "I have nowhere else to be." "What do we care?" said one of the ducks. "Just don't get in our way." Woof woof. Suddenly, a big hungry dog came tearing by, chasing the 2 ducks. They quickly flew up in the air, and their feathers fell down to the ground. The poor, ugly duckling froze in fear. The dog sniffed and sniffed at the ugly duckling, then turned away. "I am too ugly, even for the big, hungry dog to want," said the ugly duckling with his head hung low. The sky turned dark. Crack! A bolt of lightning. Then came a big storm. With heavy rains poured down from the sky. In just moments, the ugly duckling was soaked through and through. Then, a cold wind started to blow. "Brrr," he said, with both wings held close to his chest. "If only there was a place where I could get dry." All at once, a tiny light blinked far off in the woods. Could it be someone's hut? He flew to the door. "Quick," said the ugly duckling. The door of the hut creaked open. "What is all this noise?" said an old woman, looking left and right. Her eyes were not that good. Then she looked down. "Ah, look. It's a duck." She picked up the ugly duckling and dropped him inside her hut. "You can stay here, but only if you lay eggs," she said. A tomcat and hen crept up to the ugly duckling. "Who do you think you are, coming in here and taking up the room by fire?" said the tomcat. "Squawk," said the hen. "I do not need anyone else in this hut laying eggs." "Do not worry about that," said the ugly duckling. "I am a boy duck." "Then why are you still here?" said the tomcat. "Did you not hear what the old woman said?" "Get out of here, pretender," clucked the hen. Get out," hissed the tomcat. The door was still a bit open, so our poor, ugly duckling slipped out the door and back into the storm. "No one ever wants me," said the ugly duckling with a tear in his eyes. The storm ended. Soon he found a new lake. Looking into the water, the ugly duckling saw the reflection of a flock of large white birds flying. He looked overhead and could not believe what he saw. There, above him, were the most beautiful birds he had ever seen. Their long, white bodies and slender necks just seemed to glide through the sky. He watched until the very last bird had winged its way out of view. He stayed at that lake, all by himself, and time passed. The leaves of the trees turned deep red and gold, then the leaves fell to the ground. Winter came, setting a blanket of white snow all over. The cold wind and the dark clouds made the ugly duckling feel even more sad. He had to go into the cold, cold lake to fish. It was getting harder to swim. The lake was turning to ice. One day, it was all he could do to paddle the water to keep it from freezing around him and trapping him in the lake. "I'm so tired," he said, paddling with all his might. The ice got thicker and drew closer to him. In a moment, 2 giant arms swept him up. "You poor thing," said a farmer. He held the ugly duckling close to his thick wolf jacket, took the bird to his home. Never was a warm fireplace more welcome. For the rest of the winter, the farmer cared for the ugly duckling. Then spring came. Tips of green covered the trees. Short, bright flowers popped up from the ground. "It is time for you to go to the lake and swim again, as you were born to do," said the farmer. He took the duckling back to the lake where he had found him and set him with care on the water. "Gosh, I feel strong," said the young bird, flapping his wings. Why, I never felt as strong as I do now. He heard quiet splashing sounds behind him and turned around. A flock of the same beautiful birds he had seen in the sky before landed behind him on the water. Do not worry, he said to them, holding out one wing. I will go now. I will not make trouble for you. A big fat tear rolled down his cheek. He turned to go away. When he opened his eyes, he saw a reflection in the water of one of those beautiful white birds. Why was it so close to him? He jumped back, and the reflection jumped back too. What is this? He said. He stretched his neck, and the reflection of the beautiful bird stretched his neck too. Why are you going so soon? Said one of the beautiful birds. Stay here with us, said another. We'll be great friends. Then, the bird who used to be the ugly duckling knew what had happened. He was no longer an ugly gray bird that wobbled when he walked. At one moment, all the swans flapped their wings and took off into the sky. Come with us, one called back. Take the lead. So he flapped his wings fast and took his place in the front of the whole flock, all with his new friends flapped their wings behind him. Say, he said, gliding and dipping through the sky as he sped on. Who's an ugly duckling now? Surely not I. The end. Nice. Also, hello, Kotti Kopitudo too. Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for following. Isn't this a Tom and Jerry episode? Ooh. Ooh. Wow. Might be. Let's see. Oh, I should probably hide it. Tell us what you think. Yeah, tell me what you think, chat. Do we have any story requests? I feel like I want Mia's voice to hug me. Thank you. I will send one more virtual voice hug through a story. Let's see. Hold up, I'm gonna. Here we go. Dun. Let's see. Maybe a Grimm's fairy tale. Nice. Quick stretch. Oh my god, this. Hold up, actually, this is kind of poggy woggy. Give me a moment. Okay, I need to turn this off. What's right? What's left? Oh, oops. My bad. There we go. Aggressively scroll wheels. Okay. This seems good. And then from the left, we lower it to 300. Looks pretty good. Yep. And then from the bottom. Oh my god, this is so good. It means I can make a... Okay, so what I did is I found a book and the pages actually turn, right? So I will figure out a way to make this visible. You know, maybe putting it here. Yeah, maybe putting it here. This. I'm sorry, I'm a perfectionist. Me too. I don't touch the edges. There we go. Alright, great. Okay. I don't think all of these are going to be good to read. But I think if I can find a classic. Red Riding Hood. We read that. Sleeping Beauty. I'm rethinking this actually. I'm rethinking this one actually. I'm gonna keep going for the stories to grow by. Let's see, bedtime stories. Oh, it's getting a bit warm. I can't believe it's actually like turning to summer. I can't wear a blanket and like 3 t-shirts under a hoodie anymore. Insane. Okay, do we want to do the Emperor's New Clothes? It's pretty funny. We go, you're naked. Let's see. Let's do this. See how it looks when I scroll. Yeah, no, this looks good when I scroll. Close. Turn this on. This. Okay, great. This is good. Okay, so now we're writing the Emperor's New Clothes. Keep it updated. Right. Here we go. There once was an emperor who loved nothing better than wearing fancy new clothes. 3 times a day, he would change into a brand new royal outfit. Many emperors spend their days talking to advisors and fixing problems of the land. Not this one. He was too busy sending out his servants to find the great next outfit to wear. One day, 2 strangers came to town. They said they were weavers. They said the cloth they wove was the finest anyone could ever see, would ever see. But in fact, they were not weavers. They were crooks. These fake weavers said their cloth was more beautiful than any other cloth, but it could not be seen by just anyone. Only people who were smart and the most excellent would actually see the magic cloth. People who were not smart and not excellent, well, they would see nothing at all. Soon, word reached the emperor about these two weavers and their fine cloth. He thought, I am the most smart and the most excellent emperor. Anyone can tell by how grand I always look. I do not need to worry about that silly magic. So, the emperor went to see the two weavers. These clever crooks ran about the shop, pointing at empty corners and tables. They said with pride, look at these piles of fine cloth. Surely you've never seen colors as bright as these, patterns as beautiful. The emperor could not understand. He did not see any cloth anywhere. The emperor thought, I cannot let anyone know that I cannot see this magic cloth. Who knows what they may think of me? So instead he said, indeed, this is the most beautiful cloth anyone has ever seen. As it turns out, the emperor's grand annual parade was coming up soon. This was a special day when everyone in the kingdom lined up to admire the emperor and cheer him as he walked by. This year, the emperor wanted an outfit more fine than ever before. It must be made from the weaver's wonderful cloth. Yet, there was very little time. Could they weave the fine cloth in time for the parade? The two fake weavers frowned, as if they could not be sure. Then they smiled and said yes, they could make him the finest royal outfit and cape ever. But it would cost many extra gold coins for the work to be ready in time. The emperor paid it all. The two crooks put the gold right into their chest, but they did not buy yarn. All they bought were a few candles to burn in the windows at night. That way, everyone would say, look, those new weavers are working all night long to get the emperor's new clothes ready in time for the parade. On the morning of the parade, the emperor came to the weaver's shop. He felt sure that this time he would be able to see the magic cloth, but still, the emperor saw nothing. When it was time for the emperor to get undressed, clever crook said, these clothes are so light and airy, it will feel as if you had nothing on at all. And indeed, that's how he seemed to the emperor. For when he looked in the mirror, he saw in the reflection that he was wearing nothing, but he thought, really, he must be wearing a very grand outfit, one worth all the extra money he had spent. At the parade, the emperor walked tall and proud. Each person who saw him go by thought, I cannot believe what I'm seeing. The emperor is wearing no clothes. But each person said nothing. They knew that only people who were smart and excellent could see the magic clothes. Instead they cheered, there goes the emperor. Doesn't he look fine? All of a sudden, one little boy called out, look, the emperor has no clothes. Everyone gasped, and another child called out, look at him, he has nothing on at all. And someone laughed, and someone else, and more people started to laugh. Someone said out loud, would you look at that, our emperor has no clothes. Soon, everyone was calling out and laughing. Oh dear, thought the emperor. Now everyone knows I could not see the cloth. They will know I didn't speak up because I was afraid of what people would think of me. What will they think of me now? But the parade must go on, and so the emperor continued to walk, and the servants behind him continued to hold high the train that wasn't there. The end. feel like I might be the one to tap out. Oh, sorry. I didn't realize I was still sharing the thingy. I went to double check my bitrate and everything, but also just make sure I wasn't still streaming and or just chatting as usual. I feel like we have some awakers, right? And some sleepers. Nice. I think. I think I might. I'm not falling asleep. I must resist. I I might be falling asleep. But I am also very much resisting. Good. You think though that next one might be last one? I think by the time I'm done with it, it's gonna be 5 a.m. And I want to wake up a bit early too. Cannot be sleeping into the afternoons. So let's see. We are strong. The strongest imps the world has ever known. Rumpelstiltskin has nothing on the true imps. Yeah. I can't find the tab with the bedtime stories. Oh, I found it again. Let's see. Do bedtime stories. Let's do. Can't let me visit me, my slave. It's already too late. Technically, you fall asleep during stream. Stream doesn't end until you wake up, right? It's a little time travel. It's like taking a really long blink. Hey, how long is Sleeping Beauty? Because that might be a nice thing to end it on. Looks to be quite long. Okay, so Sleeping Beauty is about 15 minutes. Which seems pretty nice. Let's see. Oh. Okay, let's see. Let me double check the filter. I think maybe for this, I'll remove the bottom filter. Oh, not like that. Hola, hola, hola. Hello, Reno Storm. Hello, welcome. Nice to see you. We are today doing a s'more stream. I am, however, not a trained ASMR artist. So it is what it is. What if I make it smaller? so smart. So smart. Okay. Oh, if you guys are about to see what I just did. Here. This is good, I think. Let's do this 150. And then from the right, let's do 0. Okay, and then maybe a little bit from the top. A little bit off the top. Don't worry about it. I'm just scrolling. Scrolling. Okay. So now if I do this. Okay, I'm not as smart. I'm not as smart as I thought I was. But I can make the text bigger, but I can probably just do this, I guess. And I keep making it bigger. Like this. Or maybe it doesn't matter in like the grand scheme of things. Yeah, no, I don't think it does. Okay, I'm crying. Maybe I need to like do this. I can do this. No, we're getting somewhere. Alright, so now we're gonna be reading another bedtime story, and the next one is gonna be Sleeping Beauty. Ooh. Let's see, paste. There we go. And I'm having the text so you guys can follow along in case my accent kicks in. Your voice is very relaxing. Thank you so much. Thank you. I really, really appreciate it. Ooh, let's go. Is it? Is this gonna work? Okay, this should work. Okay, let's go. Only thing is that I gotta stay synced, and I know what's like what part is on stream and what part's not. Right? Let's now start reading Sleeping Beauty. Long ago in France lived a king and a queen. More than anything, they longed for a child. At last, to their great happiness, the queen gave birth to a little girl. All the bells in the land were rung with joy. The king and queen invited all the fairies in the kingdom to the naming party for the baby. And what a party it was! Plates and silverware of pure gold were set with care before each guest. But one fairy, Maleficent, who had left 50 years before and who had not been seen all that time, showed up at the door. Quickly, king and queen found a place setting for the new guest. But alas, the plate and the silverware were not of pure gold. This made the old fairy very angry. Soon, it was time for each fairy to give her blessing to the baby. When it came to Maleficent's turn, she stood up and pointed her long finger at the sleeping baby girl in the cradle. I declare for all of you, Maleficent called out, that this child, on her 16th birthday, shall prick her finger on the spindle of a spinning wheel and die. With a whoosh of smoke, evil fairy vanished. Everyone cried out with alarm, as you can imagine, but one fairy had not yet given her blessing. The king and the queen asked this fairy, whose name was Merryweather, to reverse the curse. Merryweather shook her head sadly. It was not possible, but she could soften the curse. On her 16th birthday, she said, when the princess pricks her finger on the spinning wheel, instead of dying, she will fall asleep for 100 years. 100 years, said the queen. After our daughter turns 16, we will not know her anymore. The king ordered every spinning wheel in the kingdom to be brought to the palace and burned. To be extra sure the princess would not be anywhere near a spinning wheel, he also ordered the fairy, Merryweather, along with 2 other fairies, Flora and Fauna, to take the baby far away. The fairies would raise the child in a cottage deep in the woods. There, they would keep her safe until after her 16th birthday. After that day, it would be safe to bring back the princess, who had been named Aurora, to the castle. Aurora grew up, knowing no others than the 3 fairies, whom she knew as her aunts. The animals of the forest were her friends. The birds and the deer, the chipmunks and the rabbits followed her around as she fed them treats and cooed to them. From the time she was little, Aurora was told she must stay inside the hills that surround them. She did not mind that in the least. The woods were wide and deep inside the hills, and there was plenty of room for her to play. One day, Aurora came home to the cottage to find her 3 aunts preparing for a party. "What's going on?" she said. "Tonight, we'll celebrate your 16th birthday," said Flora. Said Aurora. "That means tomorrow I go back to the castle." "Yes," said Merryweather. "We have kept you safe from that spinning wheel for 16 years. Soon, it will be time for you to take up your royal life as a princess. And the first thing for you will be to get married," said Fauna. "Married? Already?" said Aurora. "Do you know who I'm supposed to marry?" "We do," said Fauna with a wave of her hand. "But there's no need to worry about that. Even if he's a bit strange, some might say a bit horrid, you won't have to spend much time with him after all. And he does come from a fine family," Flora added with a quick smile. "Wait a minute," said Aurora, pulling back. "Why do you say he's a bit horrid?" "It's best not to focus on such things, dear," said Merryweather. "Just do everything your husband tells you to," said Flora, "and you will be fine." "This is not turning out like I thought," cried Aurora. "How long do I have to stay married?" "For the rest of your life, of course," said Fauna. No, this is all wrong," cried Aurora. She turned away, then said in a firm voice, "I would rather prick my finger on a spinning wheel and fall asleep for 100 years than I have to marry someone I don't want to marry. Maybe by the time I wake up, people won't have to get married if they don't want to." And she ran out the door. "Dear me," said Merryweather to the other fairies. "I don't believe that went over very well." Aurora ran deep into the woods where her animal friends lived. A deer hopped beside her, along with the rabbits and chipmunks. "We have to get out of here." she said to all of them, and pointing to a mountain pass, she said, "We will go right through the hills." Soon, Aurora came to a road. In the distance was a carriage coming closer to her. As the rider approached, her animal friends scattered. "Hail," said the stranger. "I'm afraid my carriage scared away your pets. May I give you a lift?" Aurora had never seen a man before, but she couldn't think about that unless she could find a spinning wheel. Very next day, her aunts would take her back to the palace. "Actually," said Aurora to the stranger, "there's something I need a great deal." "What's that?" The stranger, hopping out of the carriage. Very nicely dressed was he, and well-mannered too. "A spinning wheel," said Aurora. "A spinning wheel?" said the stranger. "But there are none left in the land. Everyone knows that." "Well, you see," Aurora said, rubbing her hands together, "I have this friend. She needs the spinning wheel in the worst way." Aurora looked directly at the stranger. "It's a matter of life or death." The stranger looked at Aurora's eyes. At last, he said, "I might know of one," he said, "but this needs to stay between you and me." The stranger stepped closer. "Not far from here lives an old woman who spun yarn all her life. And when the orders came to burn all the spinning wheels, she could not bear to let go of her beloved spinning wheel, since it had been in her family for many years. She came to me," he said, pointing down the road, "as I'm a prince from the next kingdom. She begged me to let her store it away safely, so I put it in the attic room of my castle tower, where no one ever goes, until the 16 years had passed." "Will you take me to your castle tower?" said Aurora. "I shouldn't," said the prince. Then, after a moment, he said, "But I will." She stepped into his carriage. Soon they were at the tower, and they both stepped out. The prince said, "This is not for your friend, is it?" "Thank you for taking me here," said Aurora. "I will always remember your kindness. Now, if you please, I must do what I must do." Aurora turned and went up the stairs of the tower to the very last stair. The door in front of her creaked open. Inside, all was dark and musty. She could barely take a step for all the spider webs. She pushed them aside and stepped forward. There, in a far corner, was the spinning wheel. From a small window, she could tell that the sun was already setting. "I hope this works," she said, "before it's too late." Aurora held out her finger to the tip of the spindle. She pricked her finger on that spindle. One tiny droplet of blood dripped from her finger. At once, Aurora felt dizzy. She fell onto an old dusty velvet blanket that lay on the attic floor and fell into a deep sleep. Moments later, all the others in the castle, servants and royals alike, fell asleep too. And so did the prince, who was still waiting for outside the tower. Within hours, thorns and vines had sprung up and wrapped around the castle, so thickly that no human or beast could pass through. For 100 years, Aurora and the others slept. After 100 years had passed, Aurora blinked her eyes awake, and all the others in the castle also awoke. Everyone started to do what they had been doing when they had fallen asleep 100 years before. The thorns and vines around the castle melted away. Aurora stepped down the tower stairs to find the prince. Together, they stepped into the prince's carriage. Down the road to the market square, they discovered a whole new world. Bicycles and streetcars, cameras and streetlights, such marvels to behold. Perhaps the best of all, they learned that in this strange new time, it was quite alright for young women and men to get to know each other, if that's what they wanted to do, and even perhaps to fall in love. As Aurora and the prince took each other's hand to explore this wonderful new world together, that is exactly what they wanted to do. The end. This felt new. I don't remember if I've read this story, if this was my first time reading it. But I I didn't know it ended that way. Maybe this is a funny remix. Boy. Max Leonidas. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for the follow. I hope you enjoy your stay. Nice. ASMR. I don't know if this counts as ASMR, but I'm having fun. I hope you guys are too. Hello. Welcome. How's your day been? So I should probably start looking for another story to read. Does anyone have a bedtime story they want me to read? I can keep digging, but I'm thinking in case anyone has something specific they want to hear. Doesn't have to be a bedtime story too, now that I think about it. As long as it's a piece of text. Let's see, what do they have? Goldilocks, maybe? Let's see, how long is Goldilocks? 12 minutes. Oh, by the way, to everyone who's been joining, hi, nice to meet everyone. My name is Mikki. I'm usually kind of sleepy or stupid, or a mix of both, but also a streamer, as you might have noticed, and I just do calm content. And for today, it's my first time trying out ASMR, or I don't know if this counts as ASMR, because I'm just kind of reading bedtime stories, but status report complete. Alice on F-land. I don't know, something about that just doesn't sound like a bedtime story. Let's see. Plus, I think Alice in Wonderland might be a bit too long. I'm only gonna keep streaming for another half an hour, I think. Just stop it at like 5 a.m. sharp. Okay, let's see. We have Pinocchio. Pinocchio seems 15 minutes. Oh yeah, wait, I need to remember to stretch your back or drink water. This is a hydration check. Hydro check. Yeah, this is a friendly hydro and posture check, everyone. Strain your breath. Take a deep breath. Fill up your lungs. And as you're holding that posture and that position, just breathe out. Okay. Back, reset. Let's see, a caterpillar's voice. I think a rhyming one would be pretty fun to do. Let's see, a rhyming bedtime story. Milk and cookies break too. Is it called milk? Yeah, definitely milk and cookies break. Let's see, do I have any? I have water. I have water. I think I might have some cookies in the living room or maybe in the kitchen. But I only have water in my room. Boo. Okay, let's see. Let's do. Are all the rhyming ones for which vehicles? Sur beau, patch la belle. Number Sebastian's apple salad. I think let's go with this one. This one's called Mr. Max Maxi Fantabulous Cat. I think it tells bedtime story of the womb tattoo. That's a very nice suggestion. Very nice suggestion. I don't think it's the one for this, but it's just a little funny womb tattoo. Just a funny womb tattoo. You know, it's there. Always been. Always has been. Maybe one day you'll get the story of it. I'll just pull it up so everyone can see. Yeah. One day. Maybe one day it will be of use. So first, not really. Okay, here we go. Up here. Now we have another rhyming one. Boom. One's called Mr. Max Maxi Fantabulous Cat. Mind-boggling feline wherever he sat. Mr. Max Maxi, cat extraordinaire, with the springiest whiskers and stupendous hair. Astonishing acrobat, catching clothes pegs. Prodigious pussycat on great springing legs. Miraculous rat catcher and teaser of mice. And superb and surprising, silly and nice. Phenomenal sleeper, he snoozes in pot plants. Stupendous string warrior, master of tap dance. Bobbish and hungry, nibbler of fish. Lapper of milk from newly left dish. Purry and perfect, marvelously humming. Weaving and winding around your legs when you're coming. Or going or walking from kitchen to door. Or lazing on lounge cushions spread on the floor. Mr. Max Maxi, dynamite kitty. Mammoth and monstrous to lift, what a pity. sitting on keyboards, curling in lofts. Mr. Max Maxey, you're cuddly and soft. Clap, 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 clap. When you grow older, one day, I'm thinking I have actual books too, like on my bookshelf. I don't know how many are in English though. Let me see. Oh, I'll bring the mic with me. Ay, almost fell. Okay, let's see. I have a book on neuroscience. I have a book on mathematical statistics with applications. I have Game of Thrones. What else? Oh, I have The Ocean at the End of the Lane. The Buried Giant. The Snapper. And I have the Psychology of Design too. I think, was it EOTD? I don't know, but it's a very good book. It's on the fundamentals, or not fundamentals, but on what good design is and what bad design is, and how it kind of plays in with kind of human psychology. Like, what do we want to do, and how do we design things so that they make sense, so that doors are not confusing and you don't walk into them 100 times. But that you can also still create new things. It's a pretty nice book. The person who wrote it seems pretty chill and pretty cool too. Checked out the website, and it said something along the lines of like, I reply to all of my mails personally, so you're more than welcome to mail me. I will, however, cuss you out. If you ask me a question that can be Googled, or if you expect me to do your homework. Mia's about to blow our minds on science and mathematics. This will definitely put us to sleep, 100%. I think all the English books I have, aside from like the Neil Gaiman, Game of Thrones, and The Snapper, are all like either books on like marketing, design, or more like math, science, etc. It's more like info heavy books. But that's a good idea actually. Okay, do you guys want to hear about design or neuroscience? One or two. This is, after all, a sleeping stream, right? This is the insomnia helpline. Let's see. Edit stream. Let's call it the insomnia helpline. Insomnia helpline. Same stories and ASMR while your chat falls asleep. Updated. Let's go. Tao's bedtime. Story of the Fibonacci rate. I see. Let's see. I think the math. Oof. The math one is a bit harder to do because I can't show the graph. I can do this though. Oh wait, if I do this, can you hear me like? Does that count as ASMR? We just like. I'll get to this. I put away the math one for now. Yeah. Give me 3 seconds and I'll go get my bag. Let's see. Is there something I can put on a YouTube video while I'm gone? Let's go with go here. Let's watch. What's a video that I can watch that is not copyright? I can take that compilation. Take that compilation. Take. Or not I can't even put on an ASMR video. Like then I'm just stealing quant. Let's do this. Satisfying gift. Satisfying loop. This is great. Although I'm just gonna be gone for 30 seconds. Let's see. Okay, yeah, this checks out. Here you go, chat. Look at this and I'll be back in a second. Hey, Mac. Told you it'd be 30 seconds. I will. Let's see. I mean, it has preface, and then it has like the preface. I'm thinking part of the preface is kind of nice to read, but I'm gonna maybe just hop right back into it. Okay. So, the original name of the book was The Psychopathology of Everyday Things, but with the new edition that got released, it got switched to The Design of Everyday Things. We promise we won't cause any mischief while you're gone. I trust you. You guys are good little imps, right? Okay, here we go. So, Chapter 1. The Psychopathology of Everyday Things. Chapter header. You would need an engineering degree to figure this out. Start quote. You would need an engineering degree from MIT to work this, end quote. Someone once told me, shaking his head in puzzlement over his brand new digital watch. Well, I have an engineering degree from MIT. Kenneth Olson has 2 of them, and he can't figure out a microwave oven. End parenthesis. Give me a few hours, and I can figure out the watch. But why should it take hours? I've talked with many people who can't use all the features of the washing machines or cameras, who can't figure out how to work a sewing machine or a video cassette recorder, who habitually turn on the wrong stove burner. Why do we put up with the frustrations of everyday objects, with objects that we can't figure out how to use, with those neat plastic-wrapped packages that seem impossible to open, with doors that trap people, with washing machines and dryers that have become too common? And confusing to use. With audio stereo television and video cassette recorders that claim in their advertisements to do everything, but that makes it almost impossible to do anything. The human mind is exquisitely tailored to make sense of the world. Give it the slightest clue, and off it goes, providing explanation, rationalization, and understanding. Consider the objects: books, radios, kitchen appliances, office machines, and light switches that make up our everyday lives. Well-designed objects that are easy to interpret and understand. They contain visible clues to their operation. Poorly designed objects can be difficult and frustrating to use. They provide no clues, or sometimes false clues. They trap the user and thwart the normal process of interpretation and understanding. Alas, poor design predominates. The result is a world filled with frustration, with objects that cannot be understood, with devices that lead to error. This book is an attempt to change things. Well, I'm gonna move this here as well as update what we're reading right now. So right now we're reading The Design of Everyday Things by Don Norman. And now I will put it away so I can do this. And a new crop 3. And on the left, we do 900. Great. From the bottom, we do 700. Not great. 400. 600. Perfect. From the top, we had 40. 400. 100. 200. 300. Perfect. And then from the right, we had 50. 150. Perfect. Okay. Do this. And then I go back to OBS, and you guys will see what I was poking around. Hello? Why isn't it working? I'm gonna cry. Why isn't it working? Oh, never mind. I made it work. There you go. This is what we're reading right now. I'll just move things around. Perfect. Okay. Now I'll get back to reading it. Okay. There we go. And then the frustrations of everyday life. If I were placed in the cockpit of a modern jet airliner, my inability to perform gracefully and smoothly would neither surprise nor bother me. But I shouldn't have trouble with doors and switches, water faucets and stoves. Stoves? Doors? I can hear the reader saying, "You have trouble opening doors?" Yes. I push doors that are meant to be pulled, pull doors that should be pushed, and walk into doors that should be slid. Moreover, I see others having the exact same troubles. Unnecessary troubles. There are psychological principles that can be followed to make these things understandable and usable. Consider the door. There's not much you can do to a door. You can open it or shut it. Suppose you're in an office building, walking down a corridor. You come to a door. In which direction does it open? Should you pull or push? On the left or the right? Maybe the door slides. If so, in which direction? I've seen doors that slide up into the ceiling. A door poses only two essential questions. In which direction does it move? On which side should one work it? The answers should be given by the design, without any need for words or symbols. Certainly without any need for trial and error. A friend told me of the time he got trapped in the doorway of a post office in a European city. The entrance was an imposing row of perhaps 6 glass swinging doors, followed immediately by a second identical row. That's a standard design. It helps reduce the airflow and thus maintain the indoor temperature of the building. My friend pushed on the side of one of the leftmost pair of outer doors. It swung inward, and he entered the building. Then, before he could get to the next row of doors, he was distracted and turned around for an instant. He didn't realize it at the time, but it moved slightly to the right. So, when he came to the next door and pushed it, nothing happened. He thought, must be locked. So he pushed the side of the adjacent door. Nothing. Puzzled, my friend decided to go outside again. He turned around and pushed against the side of a door. Nothing. He pushed the adjacent door. Nothing. The door he had just entered no longer worked. He turned around once more and tried the inside doors again. Nothing. Concern, then mild panic. He was trapped. Just then, a group of people on the other side of the entranceway, to my friend's right, passed easily through both sets of doors. My friend hurried over to follow their path. How could such a thing happen? A swinging door has 2 sides. One contains the supporting pillar and the hinge, and the other is unsupported. To open the door, you must push on the unsupported edge. If you push on the hinge side, nothing happens. In this case, the designer aimed for beauty, not utility. No distracting lines, no visible pillars, no visible hinges. So how can the ordinary user know which side to push? At Bashan, while distracted, my friend had moved towards the invisible supporting pillar, so he was pushing the doors on the hinged side. No wonder nothing happened. Pretty doors, elegant, probably won a design prize. The door story illustrates one of the most important principles of design: visibility. The correct parts must be visible, and they must convey the correct message. With doors that push, the designer must provide signals that naturally indicate where to push. These need not destroy the aesthetic, but a vertical plate on the side to be pushed, nothing on the other, or make the supporting pillars visible. The vertical plate and supporting pillars are natural signals, naturally interpreted, without any need to be conscious of them. I call the use of natural signals natural design, and elaborate on the approach throughout this book. Visibility problems come in many forms. My friend, trapped between the glass doors, suffered from a lack of clues that would indicate what part of a door should be operated. Other problems concern the mappings between what you want to do and what appears to be possible. Another topic that will be expanded upon throughout the book Consider one type of slider projector. This projector has a single button to control whether the slide tray moves forward or backward. One button to do two things. What is the mapping? How can you figure out how to control the slides? You can't. Nothing is visible to give the slightest hint. Here's what happened to me in one of the many unfamiliar places I've lectured in during my travels as a professor. The late slide projector, illustrated in figure 1.3, has shown up several times in my travels. The first time, it led to a rather dramatic incident. A conceited student was in charge of showing my slides. I started my talk and showed the first slide. When I finished with the first slide and asked for the next, the student carefully pushed the control button and watched in dismay as the tray backed up, slid out of the projector, and plopped off the table onto the floor, spilling its entire contents. We had to delay the lecture 15 minutes while I struggled to reorganize the slides. It wasn't the student's fault. It was the fault of the elegant projector. With only one button to control the slide advance, how could one switch from forward to reverse? Neither of us could figure out how to make the control work. All during the lecture, the slides would sometimes go forward, sometimes backward. Afterward, we found the local technician who explained it to us. A brief push of the button and the slide would go forward, a long push, and it would reverse. Pity the conscientious student who kept pushing it hard and long to make sure that the switch was making contact. What an elegant design. I managed to do two functions with only one button. But how was a first-time user of the projector to know this? As another example, consider the beautiful amphitheater Louis Laird in the Paris Sorbonne, which is filled with magnificent paintings of great figures in French intellectual history. The mural on the ceiling shows lots of naked women floating about a man who is valiantly trying to read a book. The painting is right side up only for the lecturer. It is upside down for all the people in the audience. The room is a delight to lecture in, at least until you ask for the projection screen to be lowered. Ah, said the professor in charge, who gestures to the technician, who runs out of the room, up with a short flight of stairs, and out of sight behind a solid wall. The screen comes down and stops. No, shouts the professor. A little bit more. The screen comes down again, this time too much. A little bit more. The screen comes down again. The professor jumps up and down and gestures wildly. It's a lovely room with lovely paintings, but why can't the person who's trying to lower or raise the screen see what he's doing? Yeah, hi goodest, hi. We're doing ASMR, but also insomniac upline, smile. So I'm reading a book. How are you doing? Oh no, I'm gonna get tired. Yes. Stream ends once someone falls asleep or I fall asleep. Thank you so much. Thank you, goodness. Nor. Feel free to stay if you want to fall asleep. You lurk? Oh yeah. I'll make sure to read it extra boring to make sure everyone gets plenty of good sleep. No, I gotta be wakey-wakeys. Thank you. Okay. Then it will be boring but exciting. Let's see. The new telephone systems have proven to be another excellent example of incomprehensible design. No matter where I travel, I can count upon finding a particularly bad example When I visited Basic Books, the publisher of this book, I noticed a new telephone system. I asked people how they liked it. The question unleashed a torrent of abuse. It doesn't have a hold function, one woman complained bitterly. The same complaint people at my old university made about their rather different system. In older days, business phones always had a button labeled hold. You could push the button and hang up the phone without losing the call on your line. Then you could talk to a colleague or pick up another telephone call, or even pick up the call at another phone with the same phone number. A light on the hold button indicated when the function was in use. It was an invaluable tool for businesses. Why didn't the new phones at Basic Books or in my university have a hold function, if it's so essential? Well, they did. Even the very instrument the woman was complaining about. But there was no easy way to discover the fact, nor to learn how to use it. I was visiting the University of Michigan when I asked about the new system there. Yes, was the reply. And it doesn't even have a hold function. Here we go again. What's going on? The answer is simple. First, look at the instructions for hold. At the University of Michigan, the phone company provided a little plate that fits over the keypad and reminds users of their functions. I'm sorry, I had to scratch my of their functions and how to use them. I carefully unhooked one of the plates from the telephone and made a photocopy. Can you understand how to use it? I can't. There's a call hold operation, but it doesn't make any sense to me. Not for the application that I just described. Oh my god. My eyes are kind of starting to crunch a little bit, but I'm gonna close them for like 3 seconds, and then I'll go back to reading my book. All good. Let's see, do we have any awakers? Or are we all sleepers today? Hopefully we have some sleepers. Quick neck stretch. Left. Right. I should probably hook up my Live 2D model again. But I need to find the files. But I feel like then you guys would just see me fidgeting all over. It's all good. It's all good. Alright. Let's continue reading. Alright. I think I'm gonna be the one to tap out first. Let's see. The telephone hold situation illustrates a number of different problems. One of them is simply poor instructions. As an engineer student, that was interesting. Let's go. It's a very, very interesting book. I'm just doing my best to make sure it's not boring. But definitely a book you should try and check out. The telephone hold situation illustrates a number of different problems. One of them is simply poor instructions, especially a failure to relate the new functions to the similarly named functions that people already know about. Second, and more serious, is the lack of visibility of the operation of the system. The new telephones, for all of their new added sophistication, lack both the hold button and the flashing light of the old ones. The hold is signified by an arbitrary action, dialing an arbitrary sequence of digits, *8 or *99, or what have you. It varies from one phone system to another. Third, there is no visible outcome of the operation. Gonna get the full audiobook read by me or ASMR? Yeah, sure, I can do that. Or I can do like ASMR's book club, right? Where I just read through a book over different streams. Kind of like playing the same game, like a playthrough, but a read through, you know? It would be interesting to try. I always wanted to try making an audiobook. But for now, I'm reading. Let's see. Devices in the home have developed some related problems. Functions and more functions. Controls and more controls. I did not think that simple home appliances, stove, washing machines, audio and television sets, should look like Hollywood's idea of a spaceship control room. They already do, much to the consternation of the consumer, who often, as not, has lost or cannot understand the instruction manual. So faced with a bewildering array of controls and displays, simply memorizes one or two fixed settings to approximate what is desired. The whole purpose of the design is lost. I need to figure out how to pronounce some words. Okay. I still don't know how to pronounce consentation. I don't know it. But we keep moving. In England, I visited a home with a fancy new Italian washer-dryer combination with super duper multi-symbol controls, all to do everything you ever wanted it to do with the washing and drying of clothes. The husband, an engineering psychologist, said that he refused to go near it. The wife, a physician, said that she had simply memorized one setting and tried to ignore the rest. Someone went through a lot of trouble to create that design. I read the instruction manual. That machine took into account everything about today's wide variety of synthetic and natural fabrics. The designers worked hard. They really cared. But obviously, they'd never thought of trying it out, or of watching anyone use it. If the design was so bad, if the controls were so unusable, why did the couple purchase it? If people keep buying poorly designed products, manufacturers and designers will think they are doing the right thing and continue as usual. The user needs help. Just the right things have to be visible to indicate what parts operate and how, to indicate how the user is to interact with the device. Visibility indicates the mapping between intended actions and actual operations. Visibility indicates crucial distinctions that you can tell salt and pepper shakers apart. For example, and visibility of the effects of the operations tells you if the lights have turned on properly, if the projection screen is lowered to the correct height, or if the refrigerator temperature is adjusted correctly. It is lack of visibility that makes so many computer control devices so difficult to operate, and it is an excess of visibility that makes the gadget-ridden, future-laden modern audio set or video cassette recorder VCR, within parentheses, VCR, so intimidating. Psychology of everyday things. This book is about the psychology of everyday things. Poet emphasizes the understanding of everyday things. Things with knobs and dials, controls and switches, lights and meters. The instances we have just examined demonstrate several principles, including the importance of visibility. appropriate clues, and feedback of one's actions. These principles constitute a form of psychology, the psychology of how people interact with things. A British designer once noted that the kinds of materials used in the construction of passenger shelters affected the way vandals responded. He suggested that there might be a psychology of materials. Affordances. In one case, reinforced glass used to panel shelters for railroad passengers erected by British Rail was smashed by vandals as fast as it was renewed. When the reinforced glass was replaced by plywood boarding, however, little further damage occurred, although no extra force would have been required to produce it. Thus, British Rail managed to elevate the desire for the defacement to those who could write, albeit in somewhat limited terms. Nobody has, as yet, considered whether there is some kind of psychology of materials, but on the evidence, there could well be. There already exists the start of a psychology of materials. There we go. Of materials and of things. The study of affordances of objects. When used in this sense, the term affordance refers to the perceived and actual properties of the thing, primarily those fundamental properties that determine just how the thing could possibly be used. See figures 1.5 and 1.6. A chair affords, within parentheses, is for, in parentheses, support and therefore affords sitting. A chair can also be carried. Glass is for seeing through and for breaking. Wood is normally used for solidity, opacity, support, or carving. Flat, porous, smooth surfaces are for writing on. So, wood is also for writing on. Hence the problem for British Rail. When the shelters had glass, vandals smashed it. When they had plywood, vandals wrote on and carved it. The planners were trapped by the affordances of their materials. Affordances provide strong clues to the operations of things. Plates are for pushing, knobs are for turning, slots are for inserting things into, balls are for throwing or bouncing. When affordances are taken advantage of, the user knows what to do just by looking. No picture label, no instruction is required. Complex things may require explanation. Simple things should not. When simple things need pictures, labels, or instructions, the design has failed. A psychology of causality. Causality is also at work as we use everyday things. Oh my god, my eyes. Okay. Something that happens right after an action appears to be caused by that action. Touch a computer terminal just when it fails, and you are apt to believe that you caused the failure, even though the failure and your action were related only by coincidence. Such false causality is the basis for much superstition. Many of the peculiar behaviors of people using computer systems or complex household appliances result from such false coincidences. When an action has no apparent result, you may conclude that the action was ineffective, so you repeat it. In earlier days, when computer word processors did not always show the results of their operations, people would sometimes attempt to change their manuscript, but the lack of visible effect from each action would make them think that their commands had not been executed. So, they would repeat the commands, sometimes over and over, to the latter astonishment and regret. It is a poor design that allows either either kind of false causality to occur. 20,000 everyday things. There are an amazing number of everyday things, perhaps 20,000 of them. Are there really that many? Sleep soon, once I'm finished with this page. Really, did it? There are an amazing number of everyday things, perhaps 20,000 of them. Are there really that many? Start by looking about you. There are light fixtures, bulbs, and sockets, wall plates and screws, clocks, watches, and watch bands. There are writing devices. I count 12 in front of me, each different in function, color, or style. There are clothes with different functions, openings, and flaps. Notice the variety of materials and pieces. Notice the variety of fasteners, buttons, zippers, snaps, laces. Look at all the furniture and food utensils. All those details, each serving some function for manufacturability, usage, or appearance. Consider the work area: paper clips, scissors, pads of paper, magazines, books, bookmarks. In the room I'm working in, I counted more than 100 specialized objects before I tried. Each is simple, but each requires its own method of operation. Each has to be learned. Each does its own specialized task, and each has to be designed separately. Furthermore, many of the objects are made of many parts. A desk stapler has 16 parts. A household iron, 15. A simple bathtub shower combination, 23. You can't believe these simple objects have so many parts. Here are the 11 basic parts to a sink: drain, flange, around the drain, pop-up stopper, basin, soap dish, overflow vent, spout, lift rod, fittings, hot water handle, and the cold water handle. We can count even more if we start talking the faucets, fittings, and lift rods apart. And that is page 11 of the design of everyday things. So we read 11 pages. That was fun, wasn't it? That was nice. I think. Yeah, I should probably go to bed. I need to wake up in 1.5 hours, I think. Oh, I'm just gonna put a bookmark. Or actually, I can just write it. I can just write 11 on my hand. See if I have a post-it note. This gets to count as ASMR. Let's go hit 11. Smile. The way the way I'm like squinting. Hold up. I'm gonna check with a sleep calculator real quick. Okay, so right now it's 5:30 a.m. I would say. Calculate bedtime. Okay, so it's probably good for me to sleep for 1, 2. Okay, I think I can push it to 3 hours of sleep. Yeah, Sounds good. Hopefully, everyone else is already asleep. No, getting a little you know. Talvemir. I don't know. But either way, welcome to the Amps. Thank you so much for following. I hope you enjoy your stay. Hello, how are you? I'm good, I'm fine. I'm about to wrap up the stream though. I can go to bed and wake up in 2 hours. But I hope I see you around next time. I don't always do sleepy streams. Today was the first, but hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If people enjoyed it, I'll do it again. By the way, this is my birthday week. I don't think I mentioned it a lot, but it's my birthday week. Smile. It's my birthday, like, tomorrow. Let's go. I still don't know how to celebrate it though. So I might do like a a stream as the day shifts over. Or see if I can do like a little funny thing where I just invite friends over and we just sit on stream. I don't know. I'm gonna check with some friends who do birthday streams and see what they usually do. Yeah, but thank you so much. Talva Mir, Talva. I'll figure it out. But Cop, thank you. Thank you for today, everyone. Thank you so much to everyone who came, even if you were, here for a second or here for the whole thing. And as usual, thanks to everyone who chatted, and everyone who lurked, and everyone who was just like here for the vibes. I really enjoyed it, and your presence here helps me have a good time, if that makes sense. This would very much not be possible without anyone. And thank you for sharing your time with me. Thank you for deciding to spend time with me. So yeah. Bye. Let's see if I can raid someone. I need to find someone to raid. Let's raid Nyara. Nyara's live. Nyara's really cool. And is probably talking about Offkai, this little like YouTuber convention that happened this weekend. So I don't have any cool message. Just type a heart in chat if you wanna go, if you wanna raid, and if you're done for today, that's fine too. But thank you, everyone. I'll see you guys around. Feel free to check out my panels or whatever and just see me on Twitter to get notified. But let's go. Let's give Nyaru some love. Mm-hmm.